I feel the rush. Hello, my children. Your father's brought you a swatching video. You good over there, Bobby?
He's like, I'm still hungry, so I'm gonna eat my foot.
It tastes like Fritos. Prism Parade recently released their Sugar Rush collection featuring 7 neon cremes. And this is the first for the brand, as they've only ever released specialty polishes, with the exception of their Black Creme Noir. And what really excites me about this collection is they went for neons for spring. Groundbreaking.
Interesting.
Right.
Not pastel.
They're neon pastels, which is cool.
Groundbreaking.
So today I'm going to be swatching the new collection, comparing them to things in my collection, and playing with them. You'll see.
Spoilers.
And before we get into the rest of the video, I did want to mention that Jill, the brand owner, and I have become really good friends. All of those sounds of you slurping that water down was probably very audible.
I was trying really hard to hold the straw so that it wouldn't clink.
Clang.
We're not going back to the Pokemon puns
Watch
again.
the Pokemon video. So because of that, I do want to disclose that even though we are friends, I am going to try to remain as unbiased as possible. That said, I still hate pink. It's not going to change.
Jill knows that, and she's explicitly said, like, I'm gonna keep making pink things.
And I'm going to keep saying I don't like it. And that's what friends are for. Honesty. Anyways, I do want to mention that I am an affiliate with Prism Parade, so if you want to save 10% off at checkout, you can use code ND10.
Or the link in the description below.
What he said. It's the FTC disclosure, so we don't get sued. Also, since all of the polishes are the same formula, Jill included some flavor text that I'm going to read with the description, and I'm going to react to it with you. So let's unwrap these sweet treats and get into the swatches. Up first is Gummy Bear. This is described as a neon purple creme polish. It's cute, chewy, and slightly feral. Oh, Jill. Oh my.
It's a feral bear, as opposed to a domesticated bear.
Why hasn't there been a Gummy Bear Pokemon?
Because that would be disgusting.
Vanillish exists. That's a sin against man.
Yeah, because vanilla ice cream is wrong. Chocolate is better.
No, vanilla.
Swirl.
S-W-E-R-L-K. Swirl.
That too.
Remember how that, like, never took off?
It was their attempt at, like, let's have a Kiki 2.
T-O-O or T-W-O? Which, speaking of, why was Zootopia 2 not called Chootopia? Now, on the first coat, I thought that it was a very vibrant, maybe slightly pinky purple neon polish. Because it's so vibrant, it did look a little patchy on the first coat, but I also think it's because it's a little finicky due to its vibrantness. But ultimately, it wasn't too bad for the first coat of a neon polish. And I do also want to note that it did dry down pretty matte.
The Cirque neons did too.
I wonder if that's a neon thing.
Jill?
I did find that it needed 3 coats to get to full coverage, as the second coat filled in a little bit of the patchiness, but was still a touch uneven. Now, I do want to say that it does look a lot more pink leaning on camera, as it loses a little bit of its purple tone. But also, this is a very pinky purple without being what I would call pink. I literally wrote down I need to look up pinky purple color names for this one, so...
Magenta?
Excuse me. Fuchsia. Fuchsia.
I hardly know.
Also, I do want to add that I did record the finger wiggle a second time with a slightly lower ISO value on the camera, just to try to show the color as best as possible. Overall though, these neons were very challenging to film because they are so vibrant. Now, before we get into this comparison, I do want to say that this is not Prism Parade's first neon rainbow collection. The first being the Meet Me at the Mall collection that I never reviewed, sorry. I had a skit idea for this, and we just...
Don't spoil it. Nail fam. Leave a comment in the comments below if you want to see a Meet Me at the Mall review.
So for Gummy Bear, I put it next to the purple being Berry Goth. So while they're not the same, they do fit the same spot within the rainbow. As for Creme Comparisons, I put it next to several other pinky, purple, neon-y things. That's not true whatsoever, only this one's neon. We don't have any good comparisons for this one.
No, this one was really hard. We just don't have like this tone of purple.
I think the closest is maybe Cirque's Cosmopolitan, except it's a little too desaturated. But I did also want to put it next to Holo Taco's Wild Child to show it in comparison to a slightly more blue-leaning, brighter purple, even though it is really desaturated. As I said, these comparisons are garbage.
Literally the only neon purple that we have is Drama Queen.
That's not neon.
Well, it came out in the neon collection.
That's like so deep.
It's still a neon color.
Hi. Do you agree or disagree? Is it neon?
He's like, I don't know, I can't see any colors.
So overall, I like this one, but it's not my favorite because it does lean very pink. And there's also several other pinky polishes in this collection, so I just... Though I think that's kind of a consequence of trying to be a neon pastel purple, because otherwise it would get too dark like the...
Drama Queen?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna give this 3 chocolate-covered gummy bears from Trader Joe's out of 5. These are weird. No, I still don't like them. Here, you want one? And moving on, we have Cotton Candy, which is described as a neon blue creme polish. This is light, airy, loud AF. I have nothing to say here.
You're quiet AF.
I have short-circuited.
You ate one chocolate-covered gummy bear and had a sugar crash.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's type 1 diabetes. Oh wait, is that the one that you're born with? Or is that type 2? Now, as for the application, it did have some similar issues as the purple, but it was not too bad for the first coat. I did also notice that it dried down matte. Now, with the second coat, it somehow fixed all of the issues like the previous polish did with the third one, so it overall looks pretty good. It was maybe ever so slightly thin on the sides of my nail, but that barely shows on camera. Now, what does show on camera that you need to ignore is this fuzz that I managed to get entombed in my nail until I peel them off later. As for the color, I personally think Cotton Candy is a little bit more of a lighter desaturated blue, while this polish is more of a true blue or potentially a cerulean. As for the Meet Me at the Mall analog, I think Fountains in Photo Booth is the blue that would match.
I think that those ones are very similar in terms of like the base color.
I disagree. You held them next to each other.
If you think that I was paying attention to the color while I was doing it, you are wrong. I was paying attention to trying to make them wiggle at the same motion.
Frequency?
I was trying to make them wiggle together.
With the same amplitude. Well, and frequency.
Yes.
Frequency is how many times per second. Amplitude is the distance between the equilibrium position and the final position. Either
so
plus
then,
or minus.
yes.
Speaking of frequency though, I was talking to the kids today and they were like...
radios.
No. They were like trying to do like snapping things and like trying to like...
God rest ye merry gentlemen and nothing to dismay. The thing that pentatonics does?
I don't know. And I was like, wait, like a polyrhythm? Like... And they were like, what? And I was like, 2/4 and 3/4. And they're like, what? And I drew the diagram of like when they happen following this constant angular frequency, and they were just like, what? And I'm like, kids, I have an approximate knowledge of many things. Anyways, back to this polish. It's blue. As for actual comparisons, I think Holo Taco's board meeting is the closest. However, I will say that Cotton Candy is ever so slightly brighter and neon leaning. So overall, I really like this one, not only because it's a color that I could see myself turning to again, but also because it had much better coverage than some of the other polishes. So I'm gonna rate this high because it does what it's supposed to do fairly well. Therefore, I'm gonna give this 5 children so sugar high on cotton candy that they begin vibrating at such a frequency that they're able to phase through solid matter out of 5.
Oh my.
And moving along, we have Sour Sucker. This is described as a neon green creme polish. It is face-puckeringly bright. Did I ever let you try those sour candies that my brother got, that he got from like England that you can't have?
That were illegal?
Yeah, because they're so sour. And if you have more than one, it makes your tongue peel. Oh, I'm literally salivating thinking about it. It's so good.
Most people live for the applause, but you live for citric acid.
Oh, God, I love citric acid. But I'll take your applause too. Now this was a very, very, very vibrant neon green, which is why it was fairly patchy on the first coat. Usually what I find when polishes are super vibrant is any slight inconsistencies in the polish thickness on the nail lead to a much more observable effect. And this polish was affected by that, especially on the second coat, as I did overwork it a little bit too much and I needed to double dip a little bit into the bottle. But I did find I was able to get it to full coverage on the third coat. However, I did paint a slightly thicker one, especially because I had to take some of the polish off of the nail in order to smooth things out. That said, it was able to get to full coverage by the time I added the third coat. Now I do want to add that this is a very, very, very vibrant neon green that my camera is kind of struggling to capture, as I feel like it's pulling a little bit paler and bluer on camera than it is in real life. But regardless, it is this beautiful Nickelodeon slime green nonetheless.
Not Brad.
No, I do not think this is Brad Green. First of all, Charlie XCX, get out. Second of all, Brad Green is more true green. This is neon, so it's more saturated in a lighter direction with like a touch of blue.
Just a kick of caffeine.
Nobody knows about Bubbly Bounce except for us.
I love Bubbly Bounce.
And then it got discontinued and they Michael Bublé.
Rumors say he's still wandering the Bublé Factor A to this day.
Now, as for Meet Me at the Mall analog, there's Mallbrat. This is honestly quite similar. I think they share pretty much the same base color, except Mallbrat does have this golden shimmer to it. As for creme comparisons, So Toxic is pretty similar, however I would say it is a little bit darker. Why did we grab the other two colors? They're nothing alike.
Good question.
Now this polish, I really liked how bright it was, but I did struggle with the opacity, probably because it is so bright. And I also found that while all of the polishes didn't like to be overworked, this one was probably the biggest culprit of that. So I think I'm gonna give this 3 sour candy out of 5.
Okay, Blackpink.
Sour candy. Do, 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 do. Oh, that was not the right notes whatsoever. Those were all sour notes. Moving along, we have Banana Taffy. This is described as a neon yellow creme polish, and don't get it twisted. Ochre, yes, God, mama. Oh my God, I said to the kids today, we were talking about posters for the science projects, and I said something about how this science project, they did the results section, boots the house down, mama, yes, God. Like straight face. That's what I said. They were just like,
I love that. Love Pink.
Love her. Now, as for application, this one was actually the patchiest of them all on that first coat because it's so bright. But I also find that tends to happen a lot with neon yellows in the first place. As for the second coat, it did come together a lot better, but there were still those light and dark patches. And I especially struggled to paint the sides of my nail as I was having a hard time getting it to full opacity on the sides while filming. And with the third coat, once again, it was on the thicker side in order to make sure that everything was fully covered. As for the color, it is a super bright neon yellow that does get washed out a little bit on camera, so expect it to be more vibrant in person. I do want to say that it does look a little safety green instead of safety yellow when it's in isolation, but when you put it next to the green, it's very clearly a yellow. Now, during the finger wiggle with the slightly different lighting, I did happen to bonk this one and I had to fix a massive dent. And in the end, I did have to do 2 coats to triage this nail. So it mostly worked, but there's a thick coat of polish on my nail, so I need to give it a lot of time to dry before I put on the top coat. As for the Meet Me at the Mall analog, we have Food Court Flirt. I think Food Court is a little bit closer to a highlighter yellow, while as I said, Banana Taffy approaches a little bit of a safety green. As for comparisons, I do have a polish that is quite similar, that being Cirque's Sun-In. I think with these two together, it does show a little bit more of how Banana Taffy is a little bit more green leaning instead of more of a true yellow. Though as I said, when it's next to a green, it does look yellow. This was one of the polishes that I was the most excited for because I would shake a little leg on the street for yellow polish. Whose leg? I don't know, not mine. But I did struggle with the application, but that was kind of expected given my previous experience with neon yellow polishes. So I don't know if it's at fault of the polish or just the concept, but it just didn't do what I wanted it to. So I think I'm gonna give this 3 extinct banana species that give you a lot of chips and multipliers in Balatro out of 5. It is time to order burritos.
Burrito-time fajitas. Fajita.
Wait, neither of us are getting a fajita. Up next is Push Pop. This is a neon orange creme polish, and it's bright enough to cause a scene. Probably will. Your Will.
True. Sometimes.
Other times you're William.
And other times,
Nail husband.
dead.
Oh. That's news to me. Now this polish is a super vibrant, yet pale orange. Honestly, it kind of looks like the color of orange creamsicle, but turned neon. Now this looked super good on the first coat, however, that was really only on camera, as in real life, it looked a little thin in a couple of spots. And I even tried to film this on my phone, and it just refused to show those thinner spots, so honestly, this probably could be a one-coater if you did a thicker.
Thinker?
I hardly know her. If you did a thicker coat. But I did paint 2 coats and it looked really good. Though it was a little unexpected that it needed only 2, as when I painted this on my other hand, it did need 3. But this could be because it's my pinky, which is the smallest nail. That said, Nail Husband did paint this on one of his hands earlier in the week, and every nail did only need 2 coats. So I do think overall, this one has one of the best coverages out of the set. As for the Meet Me at the Mall analog, we have 2 straws, 1 Julius, which is the funniest polish name literally ever. However, they're not that close, as Push Pop leans more creamsicle, while 2 straws 1 Julius leans more orange juice.
From a can.
Or from a cup. As for creme comparisons, the closest I have is Apocalypse Polish's 001. However, that is way more traffic cone orange as opposed to this being such a creamsicle orange. Now, personally, this one is one of the polishes from the collection that I think is the most pastel out of the bunch, while staying in the neon bright direction. So I really like this one. Plus the coverage is so good. So this one's gonna get 5 times you shove your father out of 5.
You love doing that.
Wordplay, wordplay.
You love wordplay, but you're not Will Shorts.
No, because my name is Nick. Who the heck's Will Shorts?
He's the puzzle master at the New York Times.
I'm so bad at connections. I don't like connections.
Connections is...
Worst game is connections. I will die on that hill because they are arbitrary categories and then they intentionally make extra categories that are correct but are not the ones that they chose. Like, shut up.
My favorite is when they're like, it's this thing, but we replaced all of the first letters with a Y.
Like girly pop.
And I'm like, how the was I supposed to get that?
Maybe I'm dumb. And moving along, we have Watermelon Crush. This is described as a neon red-orange creme polish. It is juicy, sticky, slightly threatening.
I've got a gun!
And this is a very vibrant polish, but I would probably describe this more of a coral neon than a red-orange. And I found that this one applied pretty similarly to the previous polish, as it looked relatively smooth on camera, but did have some uneven sections that required a second coat. Now, I think that the second coat was probably all that it needed, but since I was painting this on my other hand, I did struggle to apply the polish on the sides of my nail evenly. I got it in the cuticle a lot.
You flooded the out of that cuticle.
So I think that this probably could be fine in 2 coats, but I did paint 3 to fix some of my mistakes. So while there's no coral analog in the Meet Me at the Mall collection, this does seem fairly close to the orange polish within this collection. However, when they're next to each other, Watermelon Crush is more pink leaning, while Push Pop is clearly orange. Now, as for creme comparisons, I do have something quite similar, that being Boozy Brunch by Cirque. This is also a coral neon polish, however, I will say that Boozy Brunch does pull ever so slightly pinker. Now, this one really surprised me because I didn't think I was going to like it that much. However, time and time again, I'm surprised that I like coral.
How fleshy was this on you?
Not actually that fleshy.
Because I feel like normally, like, you talk about how coral polishes look really fleshy.
No.
But then you like them.
This is neon, so it doesn't look fleshy. It does make my fingers look like uncooked chicken. I didn't come up with that. That's vintage Dusty's. She said that.
About your fingers.
Not my fingers in particular. She
Just
doesn't. I don't
anyone's
think she
fingers.
knows what my fingers look like. I'd be so happy if she did. Shout out to vintage Dusty's. We love you. So I really liked both the color and the coverage that I achieved on this one, assuming that 3 coats was only because it was on my other hand. I want to try it again on my main hand. So I overall liked it a lot. So this polish is going to get 4 watermelons being crushed between a big man's thighs out of 5.
Or a big lady.
Oh, or a big they them. No, that does feel very non-binary to crush watermelon. What's the most non-binary fruit? And rounding out the collection, we have Shortcake.
It's me.
That's true. You are tiny and have a fat ass. This is described as a neon pink creme polish. It is smooth, creamy, baked in chaos. So this polish is a super duper bright neon pink. And once again, it looked fairly even on camera, but needed a second coat. Though with that second coat, it looked fairly good, but there was a thinner spout on the center of my nail that refused to show up on camera. In fact, whenever I tried to use my phone to show this, it was just such a bright pink that the phone just got scared and turned white.
I think that what we've learned is that your phone has a bad camera.
My phone camera is so bad. Someone resurrect the ghost of Tim Cook and tell him to fix my iPhone.
Tim Cook's the one that's still alive. Steve Jobs.
That's the one I meant to say.
The ghost of Tim Cook.
Kill him and then resurrect him and tell him to fix my damn phone. So I painted a 3rd coat, however, it was pretty decent in 2. As for the color, it is that stereotypical bright Barbie pink. Therefore, I hate it. Not because I don't like Barbie. I'm not sexist, I promise. I'm just tired of this color.
Watch me
dance the night away. As for the Meet Me at the Mall analog, we have Clairvoyant. Like the store. That's a very funny pun. These two are both the pink in their respective collections, however Clairvoyant is a little bit more saturated, maybe fuchsia leaning. As for creme comparisons, the closest I have is Cirque's Valley of the Dolls. This is also a neon pink creme, however it is a lot more washed out and maybe more of a baby pink, while I would call Shortcake more of a hot pink.
I think they look so similar on
I
sticks.
disagree. They're so different.
I'm colorblind, so
I know.
we don't trust my opinion on this matter.
But I still love you. And your stupid eyes. So it's no surprise I don't care for this one. As I've said time and time again, I am a certified pink hater because I'm just kind of tired of seeing pink polish, as that's just the default that has been out for ever. But it serves a purpose in the rainbow collection, so it makes sense that it needs to be added here. Plus, I know I'm in the minority and people love this kind of color, so if this is something that you like, then I love that for you. And solely because I don't like the color, as it performed pretty similarly to the other polishes in this collection, I'm gonna give this -1,000,000 strawberry shortcake references out of 5.
Pink!
Oh god, we haven't done that in so long.
Pink!
And here's the collection all together. It is a very vibrant, neon, slightly pastel rainbow that does what it's intended to do fairly well. As a reminder though, please ignore the lumpy yellow, as this was due to my various attempts to resuscitate it after it signed a DNR. I personally really like how vibrant and bright these polishes are, especially for springtime when it is so dreary and wet outside. So it's really nice having something so vibrant on my nails, especially when the outside world reminds me of my seasonal depression.
He's like, Dad, stop.
Too sweet. I do not like it. Father, why do you disturb me so?
I'm not even touching him. I'm sorry, Titan. I'll stop.
And since they were so vibrant, I wanted to check to see if these glowed under the black light. The brightest two are the yellow and the green, and the orange, pink, and coral all kind of glow the same orangey color. And since these are flat cremes, I wanted to play with them. So I decided to add Black Flake Taco by Holo Taco to tie all of them together. But I didn't stop there, because after I applied my glossy top coat, I decided to mattify them. Which, in case you didn't know, you should always apply a quick drying top coat before you apply a matte top coat to help secure the manicure before the matte effect. And this I like. I personally really like how much the black flake top coat really ties everything together while still allowing the polishes to be as vibrant as they are. It reminds me of like neon Cadbury mini eggs, and so I just want to eat all of my fingers, but not in a cannibalism way. Anyways, now that you've seen everything, let me know what you think. Do these polishes give you such a sugar high that you're ready to run around for hours, or are you about to crash your car into a bridge because
I don't care.
And before we go, if you're interested in supporting us, you can join as a channel member using the link in the description below. So thank you to my Titan Wranglers, but an extra special shout out to the many members of the Silver Spurs Club.
Wow, 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 wow.
Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe and stay sweet. Bye.
Oh, no, my glasses. Oh, does not go well with burrito.